Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my January TBR.
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
So this is the first video I'm filming and posting in 2021, but you will get my best books and worst books of 2020 in upcoming videos. If you have watched my 2021 TBR series, which I will link the playlist up above, it goes over my classic books that I would like to read, the non-fiction books I would like to read, and my oldest owned books on my TBR. So I will show you those right away just to get them out of the way. If you want more information about those books, you can go check the videos up above. So the first of those is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. This is the classic book I want to start the year off. Like I said in its own video, this is also the shortest classic I have on my TBR, and it will be a reread for me just to help me get back into the swing of things and reading classic literature since I haven't picked it up since I graduated from my degree. This will be picked up relatively soon. So in terms of my nonfiction pick, the month of January is my birthday. So I wanted to reward myself with a short nonfiction about one of my favorite actors, Keanu Reeves. This is for your consideration, Keanu Reeves by Larissa Zagaris and Katie Curran. These are just a bunch of essays that go over Keanu Reeves as a celebrity, as a person, as a figure. This is just going to be super fun to read, and I'll probably read it on my birthday. And then in regards to the oldest owned book on my TBR, we have Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. This follows a girl named Eve who comes into contact with a lifelike. Lifelikes were created to look and resemble and act like humans, so I'm sure the story will be super adventurous and super captivating. Definitely looking forward to picking this one up. So in terms of the other books on my TBR, we still have quite a bit to go through. The first of which is a reread of A Feast of Crows by George R.R. Martin. This is the second or third time I'm reading this one. It wasn't the one I liked the most, but I am definitely still finding things to tab. My Game of Thrones reread is just me going through the books and tabbing up every single thing that I could think of, just because I love this series so much. If you don't know what it's about, basically a Game of Thrones bare minimum synopsis is about the Stark family and how their father is asked to become the hand of the king in King's Landing for Robert Baratheon. When Ned goes, he realizes that the entire thing is a Game of Thrones. That maybe goes over the first third of the first novel, and the series obviously really developed from there. I highly recommend this series. I love George R.R. Martin's writing, and I think this one now we're following mostly the Lannisters but also the Greyjoys and what's going on with them. Very excited to continue. I'm about, I think, 300 pages in at this point. Obviously looking forward to finishing this one. Then, like I've mentioned in previous TBRs, I have been joining Meg with Books Winter read-along? What's the series called? Basically, the Bear and the Nightingale read-along of the entire series. This one is The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. So this is the book that we are reading in January. I have read the first two books in the series. The first one follows a young girl named Vasilisa, who when she is born, she notices that she can see different Russian folklore spirits in her town. But as the impending move of Catholicism comes from Moscow, Vasilisa is kind of conflicted into how she should defend her family. Obviously, the story is much more different from that bare synopsis, but this is the last book in the series. Very excited. By the way the Girl in the Tower ended, I think this one is just gonna tie everything together and be amazing. Also, this cover, I love it. Then this year, I also want to start a Brandon Sanderson project. So what I mean by this is that I read one series from Brandon Sanderson and I loved it so much, I bought all his other books pretty much. And then I never read them because I was too scared that I was gonna like them so much. And so I've been saving them. And I know a lot of people do this and it does not make sense. I don't know why we do this. So I'm here to make amends for that. I'm going to start the year with Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. So from what I understand, I think this was his debut novel. I'm not too sure what this is about. I've heard the synopsis for it many times. However, now that I'm reading the back, it doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard of. So I know people have better synopsized this than I will. But basically, Elantris was a place of glory, the capital of Irulan. It was a home to people transformed into magic-using demigods by the Shaud. But then the magic failed, Elantris started to rot, and its inhabitants become powerless wrecks. Obviously, this is a thick boy. I know I will love this book because I love Brandon Sanderson's writing. So it's just a matter of biting the bullet, picking this up, and really diving into another one of Sanderson's works. And just to go along with that, this is Arkham Unbound by Brandon Sanderson, but it's a collection of novellas that he's written to go along with his series. So in this one, there are 2 Elantris novellas, if I'm not mistaken. So the first one is The Emperor's Soul, and then the second Elantris novella is The Hope of Elantris. So I will also be reading those 2 novellas, not this entire book, but just the first 2 novellas in this bind up. Then a little bit of a spoiler for my best books of 2020, but Scythe by Neil Shusterman is definitely on it, and I wanted to get into Thunderhead by him right away. Basically, the Scythe series follows 2 apprentice scythes, one named Rowan and one named Citra. This world follows a kind of utopia world where humans can't die. We've conquered sickness, we've conquered age. Pretty much the only way that you can die is if a scythe decides that you will be gleaned. Again, bare synopsis of the series, and that book took me for a whirlwind. I was so surprised with how much I enjoyed it. I loved Neil Shusterman's writing for it, so I'm definitely excited to pick up the sequel and potentially finish this series this year. That's the goal. I just want to complete this because I am completely enamored with Neil Shusterman's writing. I will post a link down below to this video, but Books and Lala this year is doing a Buzz Wordathon for every month of the year. So essentially what the Buzz Wordathon was a readathon where Lala would pick one word, and if you had that word in the title of the books on your TBR, that would be your TBR for the readathon. So essentially the first week of every month, the goal is to read a bunch of books on your TBR that have the word in it. What I'm doing instead is that at least one book a month will feature the buzzword of the month. For the month of January, the buzzword is dream. So this is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. This is a non-fiction type of story that has some speculative fiction elements that follows Machado's abusive relationship that she experienced. So each chapter in this memoir is driven by its own narrative trope. So one chapter could be a haunted house, one chapter is erotica, one chapter is a bildungsroman. Each element of those chapters tie in together this theme of psychological abuse from a relationship. Not to get into details, but that is a very personal subject matter for me, and I know that this book, I will be destroyed by it, and honestly, I'm predicting a 5 out of 5 stars from this, and I haven't even picked it up yet. And then lastly, Monty over at It's Monty Price is hosting the Choices Book Club, and I think he hasn't officially announced it, but I heard it in a live. He is doing Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. Spoilers again. For my 2020 wrap-up. If you watch this TBR, you basically know. But one of the best books of the year that I read last year was Emergency Contact by this author, and I absolutely adored it. 5 out of 5 stars. The writing was so beautiful, and I really related to the main character of the novel. So I'm essentially going into this expecting the same thing. So basically, this follows a college dropout named Pablo who is working a graveyard shift at a 24-hour deli, and he is essentially dealing with a lot of debt. One night at 5 o'clock in the morning, Pablo runs into a woman named Liana. Liana was a child icon and is now thrusted into celebrity fame and international fandom, and her life is a blur of planes and paparazzi and celebrity life, and she just wants to be noticed for herself. And from what I understand, I think Liana and Pablo kind of find what they need within each other, and I'm very looking forward to this book. First of all, the cover is stunning, and I just know based on what I read from Emergency Contact that I'm probably going to love this as well. So essentially, these are all the books I want to read in the month of January. I'm gonna put it down because my arm is on fire. As usual, let me know if you've read any of these, if you've liked any of these, if you've disliked any of these books. Please let me know down below in the comments. I love reading comments. I love engaging with people. Like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. As usual, it really means a lot to me. I love when this happens. I feel so much confidence about my channel. So if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to do those things. I don't know how to end these things, so I guess I will see you next time. Hopefully, bye!